Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Santana. I'm from Salvador, Bahia, Brazil, and today I'm gonna show you guys my CS50 sql final project. So my final project is called Brazilian Well Intelligence Database. And right now I'm gonna show you guys the purpose and objectives of this project. So the main purpose was to turn raw data from the ANP website into actually business insights. So that would be useful for someone trying to get knowledge on the oil and gas field in Brazil, understand offshore operations, onshore operations, what are basins, blocks, fields, and yeah, this whole oil and gas context that might be kind of overwhelming at first. And to do that, I've stated five questions to be answered throughout the project, and I'm not gonna read them, but you guys can see them here, and I'm gonna show them being executed in my database just in a second. So I have five core relational eight entities to do this project. The first one is wells, the second one is operators, the third one is basins, the fourth one is blocks, and to finalize everything, I have fields. That's basically the database schema architecture, but I'm going to show you guys in the code in just a bit. And here are the analytical drivers and use cases. So you can know what operator has some dominance. You can see the regional concentration of wells. You can compare onshore operations versus offshore operations. And you can also see what are the basins present in Brazil to understand more of the context in general. So the scope and technical limitations, we have simplified relations. So we just have basin blocks and field linkages to the wells. We don't actually have like basins who owns blocks and blocks who own fields, but that's fine for this project. But because I've decided to centralize everything, we also just have a static snapshot so that the whole project was made with data from July of 2026. So yeah, that's basically the scope I've decided to use in this project. So we're limited there. And yeah, we also didn't look to production levels and none of that. So that's another limitation. All right, let's dive into the code now. That's basically my code. Here we had like in design.md, which was answered with the functional requirements and the relationships and lots of things, lots of answers. Here are the sources as well, but I'm not gonna focus on this now. So yeah, that's basically my schema.sql. As you guys can see, I've imported this CSV file from the ENP website and created five tables, wells, operators, basins, blocks, and fields. Those four ones are very simple, and the wells is kind of which the table that the entity that centralizes everything. So it interacts with the other tables via foreign keys. And yeah, basically here, as you guys can see, we can insert into each one of the tables via a temp table, which is basically like a landing table. And yeah, after that, we drop the tables and create views to answer the questions. So I'm gonna basically show you guys the views now, so you guys can get like a general value from the project. All right. So the first one is basins onshore offshore view, which will basically show the basins that we have in Brazil and if they are offshore or onshore. So M, it's mar in Portuguese. So it's basically onshore and oh, sorry, it's actually offshore because mar is sea and T means terra, which is land in Portuguese. So yeah, those are basically the onshore basins in Brazil. So yeah, here we can see the onshore operators, which are 3R. That's like a blank because some of the data had loop values. 3R Petroleum, Aguila, and yeah, lots of operators. Here we have Petro Recôncavo as well here, Petrobras, yeah, lots of them. Here we can see the basin state view. So basically in what state each one of the basins are. So that gives kind of state analysis, which felt great for me. Here we can see some feud state views. So yeah, like in which state is each feud, which is great as well to understand more of the feud scenario here in Brazil. Also, we do have the number of wells by operator, which is great to understand the size of the company. I'm not sure if this data of Petrobras is right, but I guess this one of Petro and 3R are right. So yeah, that's really great to understand the size of the company, understand which operators are big, small, and yeah, it's just good in general to understand uh, the size of the operators here. All right, so here that table is important and it's the last one. It basically is a general view of the basins in Brazil. So as you guys can see here, for example, we have Recôncavo Basin, which is a big, big, big basin. And as you guys can see, it has like 157 blocks, 116 fields, and this huge number of wells as well as the Potiguar one. So yeah, that's great to see the size of basins and understand how it's split it into blocks, fields, and wells. It kind of um, fused the blank of the entity relationship diagram, not having like the relationship between those four tables because I've decided to centralize it in wells. So yeah, I guess that's basically a good overview of my project. I will leave you guys with this thank you table here on Google Slides, and this was CS50.